Other and absent would be Kelly. So motion 042325.01, be it resolved that the council approves the agenda as submitted by the clerk for its special meeting of council on April 23rd, 2025. Would somebody like to move?
I'll move.
Billy, and a seconder?
Seconded.
Right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against nay. Motion carried. Any disclosures of conflict of interest? Number 5, business arising from prior meetings. So A is the financial audit. It will be presented by Serge Richard.
My name is Serge Sharp from Bookshop Butet. So if you want, you can take there's 3 statements. The one is state utility operating funds. The small, probably the small city of 3.
Please listen to.
Yeah. And you go page 2. This is the statement of review expenditure for the utility operating fund.
I have no idea where I am. I only have 2.
It should be 3.
Is that one?
No,
It's the one after.
Oh, thank you.
And there you
thank you. Yes, page 2 of that one.
Of the general operating?
No, utility operating.
Oh, utility, okay. It was, yeah.
Start with this first.
All right.
Yeah. That's the statement of income, revenues and expenditures, utility operating fund. So total revenues this year was 266,000 compared to 246 last year, and you had budget of 235,000. Total expenditures were 245,000 compared to 192 last year and 234 last budgeted. So this gives you a surplus of $20,865 compared to a surplus last year of $54,175. The revenues were pretty much as budgeted. We increased the rates from 330 to 245, and pretty much identical number of users from the last year. Wasn't that much increases in 2025. The only thing that wasn't maybe a change in the budget was the interest for 38,000. This does include like 26,000 just for 2 accounts. And we had a provision for that. So it's actually 26 offsets against provision. So the net is only 12,000 of the actual interest that you charge to residents unpaid bills. Expenses were a little lower than last year because of wage transfer from the general operating fund, because of the unfilled position for public works and maybe even a CEO. There was less wages transfer. Another line that's different is probably short-term interest in capital projects, which was budgeted 70,000, but the actual amount was 49,000. This is the interest we paid on the line of credit for the sewer system upgrade. So that was general utility operations contribution to that project, that $49,000. You had budgeted a $30,000 transfer to reserve, but you only put in 10,000 for the operating reserve. And you had put actually 30,000 for capital reserve, and you put 10,000, and you had budgeted 10,000 for operating reserve, and you put 10,000, the same amount. So this one's pretty simple. So you have a surplus this year of 20,000, like I said, comparable to last year, 54,000. So I don't know if there's any question for the utility operating fund.
What's that last line, provision for?
Provision is just sets the. Just because there's 2 accounts that are high, that are not part of never going to be collected, so we just put a bad debt against it. So it's not. If you look at the previous page 1. Account receivable is 49,000, but the actual amount I think now is like 50,000 or something, 500,000 almost. But there's like 450,000 of accumulated credits against that, just because we don't want to be, it's amount we know we're never going to apply.
Like false version.
Yeah, we just offset against provision.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we talked about a couple of weeks ago, maybe it's having something done to big stuff doing, collecting inputs or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, there's any other questions for the utility operating fund? So the next one we can do is a general operating. Same thing on page 2. So we had full revenue of $4.3 million, 4.3 million, and expenditures of $4 million. So we have a surplus this year of $274,193. And
We
we
have a surplus of what?
274,000.
You went too fast. 274.
The last thing, the last part, the bottom
I'm enjoying it.
uh,
I enjoyed that.
yeah. And well, the way it works is if you look at the page 1, there's surplus, like municipality is different from federal and provincial governments. You can't accumulate profits, you can't accumulate losses. So if you look at your equity, you had 436, that's actually the surplus for the last 2 years. So it was last year's surplus 162 is going to be recognized in this year's budget.
Okay.
And this year's surplus of 274 is going to be recognized in 2 years. So in 2 years, you're going to recognize a surplus of 274. So it's better, like I said, it's better the other way. So total revenue for 1.3 million, you can go through a couple that were different. Probably fire protection is 40,000 compared to 18,000 budgeted. 18,000 was the amount that you actually received from the local service district. There are also other fire protection and other services provided by the fire department for another 21,000. That was not, I think that's probably going to be corrected in next year's budget. I don't know if it was picked up in 2025 yet, because it is amount that you're probably going to receive every year. Building permits was 63,000 compared to 10,000 budgeted. And it's probably comparable to last year's 68,000. It's probably there's probably capital projects or something that's ongoing. That's why there's a larger amount of permits. Rentals is pretty identical to the budget. That's a collection of 3 or 4 properties. Another one is different is the if you look at province and New Brunswick other 26,000. That's actually 18,000 that remaining amounts from reform funding that you got in 2024. Plus, there's another 55,000 that we decided to you guys decided to defer to next year. So there's actually 55,000 left over for projects that hadn't been done yet, based on the list that was applied for. Plus, in that amount, there's also a $7,500 for a ball field repair that you did. So that's why the revenues this year was 4.3 million. So almost 105,000 more than budgeted. Expenditures, we can go sector by sector. So the first one is general government services, so page 3. This one is 18,000 less than budgeted. You had budgeted 761, and you only spent 743. Probably the biggest savings is because of portion of the year there was no CEO, so that's why you saved a little bit in salaries. And there was a big expenditure if you look at consulting, using human resources. So there was probably 4 or 5 firms that did outsource for the HR investigation and recruitment and all that. So that total this year, the total for that expense that wasn't budgeted was 71,000. So even if we had that expenditure, we still did a surplus in that department. Another thing this year that you got a refund from WorkSafe in Brunswick, almost $12,000. That was a performance, like I think the WorkSafe had like $186 million in surpluses that they decided to give to all the employers. So your portion of that was around $1,500. So that's included in the offset against these expenses. Another thing, the last line, if you look, there's 2 in project, which is 55,000. It's all in one department, but I think next year we're going to divide it up and put it in the proper sectors, because most of these employees are probably transportation, recreation, all that. So I think next year we're going to just do it differently and put it in the proper department. In the past, it was always put in general government services. Next department is protected services. It shows that you only spent 1.3 million, but that's actually another 39,000, which is like we would classify it as a capital contribution to general capital fund. So that was for the, I think, $13,000 for the parking lot, probably 25,000 for firefighting equipment. So the actual amount in protective services is 1,370,000 compared to a budget of 1,337,000. So there's actually a $33,000 budget shortfall for protective services. And one of the expenditures is, if you look at firefighting force, the budget's 65,000 and you spent 82,000. I think we analyzed it and there was a additional amount for this year for life insurance that was paid. That's why there's a $15,000 difference. Next sector is transportation services, which is 102,000 lower than budget. And this is probably the one that has more differences because of the position for director of public works and public work employee until during the year. So that's why that you had savings in that department. Also, I think because you had less employees, probably less work done. So that's some of these amounts that were budgeted weren't expected. And I think another one that we figured out was the snow and ice removal. There was like a 40,000 that was budgeted in case you had to hire outsource something that used to be done by insource. So, and it wasn't because of probably last winter there was that much snow, you didn't end up doing it. Because that took 228,000, that's actually the 6 payments you pay based on the agreement with for the snow removal. Next department is that helped in the environmental health. Most of that is all spent through a commission, so it's pretty much identical to the budget. Environmental development services. It's 14,000 more than budgeted, and a big portion of that was probably, if you look at markets, $19,000. That was wages for Bass River markets. That was included in that department.
The two Summerston?
Yeah, was that subsidized?
It was, yeah,
You did have a grant, yeah,
a portion.
a part that was financed through private government. So it's not it's an expense here, but it's probably revenues up top offset that. And next department is recreation and culture. That one, same thing, there's a $9,000 that's not there because of the brine pump that we put in as a capital fund contribution. So the actual amount is $335,000, but still there's a $44,000 saving compared to the budget. And larger probably the differences is programming. You had budgeted $25,000, you spent $2,300. And Boiler, that was a savings around 16,000 for that department as well. So that one has a savings around 44,000 for that department.
It budgeted for full-time and only hired up to me.
Yeah. And the final sector is fiscal services. Those first 3 amounts was pretty much identical to the budget because you know ahead of time what your payments are going to be for principal and capital lease arrangements. The last amount is just the general capital fund contribution, which is total, I think like $49,000, which are the three or four amount projects that capital general operating fund paid for the capital fund. And one thing we usually try to check is those 3 amounts. That's your debt service payments. So total payments for this year was $378,000, and your total general operating budget was $4,067,000. So to service the debt, 9.3% of your budget is to service the debt. So it was probably average to the other municipalities we do, And it's way lower than the prior 20% max that the province would allow. So you're around 9.3% that the service debt for the general operating fund. But if there's any questions for the general operating fund?
There's somewhere, I don't see it now, but I have no deferred income of 67,000.
That's the 55,000 total funding that you can use this in 2025 for the sign. And there's, when you did the application last winter, there was a bunch of items that was listed that were never done. So because of the surplus, we just took 55,000 and we're pushing for 2025. So there's like amount of money left over for 2025, you can use those projects. The next one is the consolidated financial statements. The larger one, this one is prepared using public sector accounting standard compared to the other two were prepared using fund accounting. And fund accounting is the same principle as your budget, so that's why we usually concentrate more on that one. This one is, it's required, it's not necessarily telling you much information, so you can do a couple of notes that would be informational. So note 17 on page 20. So the first line is the page 20. So the first line would be the surplus based on PSAP. So general operating fund, the surplus is 737,000. But if we do an adjustments at page 20. Yeah, so 737. And based on fund accounting, the surplus would be 274, which is the same amount that you have here, 274 for the general operating fund. Same thing for, yeah,
Sorry,
no problem. It's the page 20.
did I get that one? I don't have
think I
anything
get
with.
that one. No.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we're just gonna review a couple of things. So 274, that's the amount that was, we reported on the smaller one. And 20,000 is the one for general operating fund. So these are, just to reconcile, it's the same amounts that were on the statements. Now we can go note 7 on page 11. Which is your long-term debt. So last year you had 1.9 million in long-term debt. It's down to 1.7 million. There's no new loans this year, but there's an upcoming $750,000 debenture they're probably going to get this year for the wastewater system. And that would be on the, yeah, so it's 76,000 you're going to need one this year for 750. You're going to pay over probably 15, 20 years. Another page we can go, it's actually the next page. These are capital leases for fire trucks mostly. So you had total leases last year of 240,000. Now it's up to 596. But the big change is there was a new capital lease for the acquisition of the 2024 Freightliner. I think for probably Beersville Harker, I'm not sure which one. But that was a new lease that you had on January 1st, 2024. That the province probably had already ordered before the amalgamation.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the one that picked up here. The next page we can go, it's page 15. Oh, yeah, page 15, note 15. Page 15? Yeah. Oh, no, excuse me, not page 15, that's yeah, page 18. So this is the total of the, if you look at the second line, we had additions this year, 2.5 million. And most of that was the wastewater and water system, which is $2 million. And the bigger, and the freight line was 453, so just those two was like $2,475,000 that you had for just for those two amounts. And the next page we can go is note 18 on page 18. Actually, yeah, put it wrong. No, page number, page 21.
You can say
Yeah,
that.
I know. Yeah. So these are your reserves. So as of 2023, you had 372,000 in reserve. Now you're up to $400,000. The general operating fund, you have 80,000, so you didn't put any more contribution for that, but you did have $1,100 in interest. General capital reserve, the same thing, you had no contribution, we gained $2,400 interest, so that one's up to 274 now. Wastewater and water system. I think the balance before that was only 5,000, but you put 10,000 in. And there's $200 of interest, so that's why the balance size of your wastewater operating system is up to 15,596 now. And that's what is actually offside, that you're not supposed to be more than 5% of your operating budget. So the actual limit is only $9,600, but next year is going to go up to $12,000, and you're probably going to be on site a couple of years, so that's why we left it there. But don't put any more money in your wastewater operating reserve because you're already at the cap of 5% of your previous year operating budget. Just because of next year, you're going to add the payments for the annual debenture. So your expenditures are probably going up to, I don't know, $400,000 or $500,000. So we're going to be good next year and not this year. So that's why I put a little note there saying that we're not in compliance with the province, won't do anything for $4,000. And the final one is your wastewater capital reserve, which is up to 129,000. But I think we're gonna have to use that for the shortfalls and for the wastewater system because of the project. I think it's like 2.2 million coming from the government and 750 for the venture, but we might be short by $100,000. If we want to get the full financing from the province, we'll have to probably spend that money. And I think most of it will always spend anyway. But you do have 129,000 left over for that. So you're gonna, I think we talked to Robin, we're gonna do you guys gonna do a resolution this year to go get that money. So that's about it. I don't know if there's any questions for that one as well. Yeah, well, it's very good financial position because like we have surpluses, like both have surpluses, which is, it's a good thing, but it's not. You probably, if you would have known that, you probably would have put like $100,000 or so more in general capital reserve this year, but you can do it in 2 years. So next 2 years from now, you're going to have a $276,000 surplus. We can just offset it with a reserve contribution then. So it doesn't, it's only a time difference. Okay. Yep. Yep.
We have a motion, 042325.02. Be it resolved that council accepts the 2024 consolidated financial statement as prepared and presented by the firm Richard Batot, PC Inc. Somebody like to move that? Billy, seconder? Phoebe? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Motion carried. The next motion, be it resolved that the council appoints the firm Burke Bouchard Boutot, PC Inc. as the auditor for the municipality of Five Rivers for 2025. A mover for that? Elaine?
Second.
Mike? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Motion carried. So we can keep these copies. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, sir. See you next year.
I sounded dying.
A lot easier.
Did you leave that in the copy?
Oh, it was a big crowd last year. We remember. Okay, Moving on to B5B, the strategic plan. So you have, paper copies of the strategic plan that Rob has provided. And, so we're going to go through the strategic plan and, Rob has put what he knows of. And there may be some things because you were here for the full, well, for first 2 years. So, speak up if you want anything added, because this is the first time that we've really done the, review of the strategic plan. Yeah, I have notes. Okay, so, Rob has put them in order at the top of page, let me see, the second, the third slide for Karen.
Got it.
So if you look at the fourth slide, then organizational efficiency. Would you want to speak to that?
Sure. So basically, I took the 13 items that were in the strategic plan, objectives, and I created a slide for each one where I identified wording, as the mayor said, what I understood or was aware of, had been completed, things that were in progress, and things that were planned, had not started yet, but maybe done in the next 12 months. So I won't speak to each one of these. I don't think that would be, unless you would like me to, but I mean, I can explain maybe a couple. Yeah, so having said that, SharePoint is a content management system that we've implemented. And the idea there was to take the files that have been on servers and consolidate them in one centralized location and make them available to council. Document management is sort of paired with that, but there's also the process of, and certainly there's work that has been done on this before I arrived, but it's all about taking, municipalities are incredible manufacturers of documentation and keeping them top of it and keeping it organized. The actual print versions is challenging. So we're, sort of endeavor to continue what we've done before and go further with that. The org chart, we've already sort of developed roles, descriptions, and that the council has seen. The assistant clerk, I think, gives while people certainly had this responsibility before, now it'll be sort of centralized or pinpointed with the actual named resource. Same thing true with the planning and finance manager. The asset master list is something that we used as a base of information for the capital planning that we did for CCDF and overall. And so as part of that, like it lists our streets, all of our assets, building, properties, vehicles, equipment, and so forth. Here forward, we would look to, on an annual basis, update that. And the administrative standards policy, which council passed and was worked on by the bylaw committee, sort of further concentrated or identified, the standards that we would adhere to. In terms of in process, and this is, I say it's in process because I think some of this is where, certainly, I think it's a weekly event that the mayor and I, and sometimes others sign a great many checks and large piles of. And there are some that we could sort of transition to EFT payment, direct deposit, and so forth to make that a more efficient process. Non-discretionary standard known things would be the ones that we know we have to pay and that we're budgeted, et cetera. Working in the chart of accounts, that's something that I've been working with a couple of people at the administration, as well as we'll have Serge involved in that. And just this way, streamline that and sort of tune it, if you will, so it supports meaningful reporting, meaningful and timely reporting. Global contracts list and organization, that's very, very early on, but that is sort of, and this would be both in SharePoint. One thing that you have when you visit any town is you tend to be handed sheets of paper with lists of counselors and their names and lists of staff and their names and lists of other people. So the idea is actually to consolidate all that in one list and make it available to everyone. So Because again, in addition to manufacturing paper, towns tend to have huge volumes of contacts and organizations that we work with. Private sector, public sector, all levels of government, et cetera. So early going, but those are created, and anyone actually who has access can go and do that. STOPS is an acronym, maybe you may be familiar with, it stands for Standard Operating Procedure. So we have some, but not many of those, and it can go from public works, finance, even recreation, just sort of a trail of, the procedures, the steps that you do and what to have ready and prerequisites. So that's gonna be a long-term over time, building those as we can. And actually, we just talked today about the accounting software upgrade and having a presentation on Sage 300, in the next few weeks, maybe the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's sort of a starting point, which does dovetail with the chart of accounts work. And it's just an overall sort of upgrade to the system. So those are all things that were sort of on my radar, if you will, for organization.
And does the accounting software, or I don't know if that's completely separate, but to do direct deposit for some of our, is that part of that?
It could be, it depends on the software and the, it multiplies in how your accounts are set up and so forth. But yes, it could be enabling of that.
Okay.
There's also payment software which you could incorporate in here,
Karen.
which we don't have currently.
Yeah, I see your hand.
Okay,
Were you
I
gonna
just didn't see anybody. Sorry.
No,
One of the main things that was in our strategic plan that I don't see on this list is our rural plan.
It is in other parts. I didn't map it to organizational efficiency. It's in there. Yeah, you'll see that in one of the upcoming slides. It's actually more than, there are several things that are repeated on a bunch of these slides, which I won't repeat.
Yeah.
But one is on there.
Okay, thank you.
The organizational audit that we had completed by strategic step is not there.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, I think the only, sorry, just back to it. I think the only thing that we don't have direct deposit is, although I have anyways, is like the reimbursement for using your own cell phone or whatever. It was just that one. And I know we mentioned it
Look
for,
into it with the bank, see if we can.
sorry.
Yeah, even I think firemen pay stipends and whatnot is not,
Mhm.
Yeah. that'd be-
so there's like 60 of them. There's quite a list.
And expenses, so
Yeah,
mileage,
expenses.
expenses, and meals and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so there's a large list of things that can be moved to direct deposit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's,
Saves money on checks.
yeah,
Totally.
Is the website farther on down?
it is. It's, I didn't
Okay.
really have it as a efficiency thing, although you could argue it does have some effects. It's more on some of the other things. So the other items in the list, you'll see it for sure.
Anybody see anything else that's missing from this organizational efficiency? Okay, we'll move on to number 2, legislation is current and relevant.
Yeah, here, I don't think we need to go through the list because it's something overall fairly well acquainted with, and we're actually having a meeting tomorrow to sort of follow up on. So that's really just a list of all the things we've either passed and or working on and planning to do. in the
Bylaws and
future.
policies mostly.
Yeah, and I might add, on
The
here,
rural
for the
plan is
benefit, the
there.
rural plan is there.
Yeah. Karen, you
The
see it?
reassurance of, yeah, so it's under the plan.
Yeah.
Accountability, next item, accountability, transparency, and sustainability. So accountability and transparency is certainly starting to publish meeting videos is a pretty obvious way of doing that.
Mhm.
The governance training we completed, the asset inventory we moved for accountability. Municipal grant program, making that a public program and funneling all requests through a standardized process and with equal billing. Capital budgeting, again, through a standard process. I have a generic one here, improved communications, but that's sort of a multi-pronged sort of thing that goes with that. But certainly the website we just mentioned would be part of that. And even the open houses, I would say that we held on the respect to the rec center certainly is about accountability and transparency.
Uh-huh.
The annual report is a new thing that's doing, that now that we have our audit, we're sort of set to complete work on the annual audit and publish that, which is a local government act requirement. But in that, for example, in addition to providing financials, it will have a record of attendance at meetings of council members and committees and who's on them, which committees you have, all that kind of thing. So it's a very broad, there's a lot of required elements to that. The local government act spells out what you have to document in it. You can go beyond that and provide like, almost like newsletter type information or mayor's report. But anyhow, council reports that we've sort of worked in our proceedings for now, they'll be reporting of what's been done. That's all part of accountability and transparency. Chart of account update, I'd say also feeds into that. And public procurement, just making more like the RFP than we did on the rec center. It's just an exactly procurement, but it's certainly public. There's us, and I might even do more on that. Monthly financial reports, the big goal, we're all anxious to sort of get to. And improved budgeting processes, and that is not just, I know when I see a lot of people think primarily that we just talked about the operating budgets, but it's as much the capital as the operating budgets count as much toward that. So in getting those, working on that, So the fourth item was governance, and updated proceedings in council certainly hits that, and council meeting videos and governance training, which we talked about, the annual report, which we talked about, and council reports. And I did add in there sort of a potential is that when I left Heartland, what I did was I wrote a very, I chuckled because it was extraordinarily long, memo of everything going on and everything that was sort of had to be looked at by the next council, my successor. So an annual report sort of that summarized sort of a year in review or something that would provide that kind of information for the future, at least as an option. So that's there. And I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to, or that I say you, but.
I actually saying, anybody else have anything to add there? Thank you.
With
covered
that,
everything.
I'll go to community
I think
engagement.
I do.
Oh, go ahead,
Sorry.
sorry.
I was thinking when I was reading through this, where you have the update proceedings to council and you have the governance training completed, how much work is it to add governance training to the proceedings of council? Like make it a provision in the proceedings, the first meeting of each new council or within 30 days, whatever, that they receive the governance training?
That's something to think about. I won't respond in the moment to that because I having looked at a lot of proceedings when I did them both in Heartland and here, I don't remember seeing something like that element worked in. Not to say it could be or shouldn't be, but just that I haven't seen that done. There may be another way of accomplishing that as well, but certainly, yeah, no, I'll take that away. And,
I'm just thinking in the future where we didn't get it immediately. I think that meeting that we had with those two ladies was absolutely essential to any new council. And even if you're a returning member of council, I don't think that would hurt anybody as a refresher. I just think maybe I just thought maybe in there, but maybe it's something separate and we line out what happens when you become a member of council. Because we were all like fish out of water.
yeah, I would add to that to say that.
Orientation.
Yeah, I think it's part of the orientation. As part of the other element of orientation, I know, because I was, when we had to like, we did sort of a top to bottom what's going on or work that's outstanding or on deck to be done sort of thing. Department review, like it was a wholesale sort of, here's the thing on how it works, projects we have on the go, funding we've applied for, et cetera, et cetera. So that is also, that's not governance training in terms of proceedings, but it's certainly information every new council sort of needs to start with that and be, brought up to speed.
Yeah, previously we did receive governance at the UMNB orientation.
Yeah, but it's,
No, this was
wasn't as good as it is.
No, but we did receive some
Yeah.
every
Well,
orientation.
but-
There was
Yeah.
every time.
But that was, that was almost a year after we were elected when we went to UMMB.
Oh, we
Like,
went
we
in
were
February.
elected in November.
We went in February.
And we were quite a ways in before. I just had that feeling after that meeting. I just think it would be so helpful to new members of council, newly elected, even previously elected. Just to
Yeah.
set up what you can expect.
The
On a
refresher.
smaller group.
Yeah,
It's better and you
Yeah.
catch more.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I
Yeah,
think
and
their
it-
presentation for future.
And I think
Yeah,
what you're thinking of, Karen, is when, like, 5 years from now, when maybe nobody
Yes.
around this table today is here for that council, how do we embed it that they're going to have that training? Because it
Yes.
benefits Five Rivers,
Yeah.
right? To
Yes.
make sure that that
Yes.
happens.
Yes. And even as Rob said, coming in, they could have that report from the CAO saying, this is what's in progress, this is what's ongoing. So you're not walking in blind, not having any idea where anything is or what the status is on anything. Just an
I-
idea for the future.
No, it's very good. I think, one way of attacking it may be to have like a training orientation policy for council. And is that training orientation, because like, reading bylaws and policies, coming familiar with them, because even the training I'm presuming to the council,
Yeah,
part of the challenge with the province is they provide general or generic, and for your proceedings, that's how you will operate.
Right.
So learning general things about it doesn't tell you like you're gonna have quarterly, committee of the whole meetings, for example, right?
Mhm.
That's particular to you.
right.
So
Right.
you might learn what a committee of the whole meeting is, but then you have to find out how you decided to implement it or
Yes.
not. So,
Yes.
yeah, and so there's all kinds of orientation, like familiar, like what we just had with Serge. I mean, anyone coming in
Yep.
would not be familiar with sort of the way the operating budgets are laid out, what a CCB after gas tax was and all those things. So it's a massive scope of stuff. So you probably have like a checklist almost of things
That
that
would be good.
if you're brand new coming into council, here's all the sort of subject matters and
Yep.
information you're gonna want to familiarize yourself with. So,
Right.
and actually, you probably, I almost want to get joking, council, you probably want to give it to people considering running for office.
Yes,
But
yes,
here's what's
That's a
ahead.
really good idea.
yeah,
If you're up to look at all this stuff, then by all means.
yes, absolutely.
But anyhow, say that, almost joking.
You came into a reform year too.
Yeah, but I think that's the way, if you do that, and that's a good, I'm gonna write that as like, if that's training orientation policy would be.
Yes,
Uh,
And it could be catered to, like, if you end up having, 90% returning members, then
Yeah.
you can still have a refresher, some regular governance, but you can also cater, like, okay, what are some things that we wanna, specifically delve into from our,
Right.
anyway.
Last time, yeah.
yeah.
It could also be a test.
Right.
I would be up for, actually, I did it right at quiz one time, yeah, so I never did it a second time.
I think it would be funny.
It would be
Yeah,
hilarious.
I mean, it was multiple choice, you had 1 in 5 chance. So, but
Okay.
anyway, community
Moving on to
engagement.
number 5.
Community engagement, so this was obviously that's a big one, and so the new website, which is on its way to getting launched maybe this month or early next. Community engagement specialist, which you already had hired last year, recreation coordinator, which we hired this year, quarterly newsletters, which I know were already in place and we're continuing to fine tune. Active social media communication is sort of like and while it's completed, it's always something you're always, so you could move that into the second column, but more community outreach. Both the last two items you could move in a column. Rec center open houses and report, which we published on the web. Community center projects that we had in our capital plans that are in there and planned. I put open houses, that's if we decide to go that direction or do more sort of general ones. Branding and signage, which it does appear later, but that's another one. Multicultural engagement, Indigenous engagement, neighboring municipality engagement. That's actually, even though it's down the list, these are not in the order of importance in any way. But it's one thing, we have a lot of meetings with, and even they are somewhat coordinated sometimes by the RSC, but yeah, more like where you can share services, resources, information, systems, learning. We used to have regular meetings, just CAOs, and they were pretty useful, and certainly when I was new, it was very helpful. So anyhow, that's an area where, and notification systems, we went through, I think, 3 in Hartland. The last one was very expensive and super robust. We didn't look at.
Notification of.
So there's emergency notifications that everyone's sort of like, and they're incredibly difficult to sign people up for. We never, that was a puzzle that we never solved. And it seems it's really hard to do that. But then there's just notifications that you can send out through website software, other systems for standard communications.
We do have one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's through the Kent Regional Service Commission, so all of the communities in Kent County have it.
for emergencies.
Yeah.
But then-
For different, it's for all type of like new use, construction, like.
How many people are signing up on it?
So it's
You talk-
gone out regularly to notify people to register for it, so there's a few,
There's
but.
an app.
We had 10% of the population signed up. We were down in the 5% range. It's just even an emergency. So and we did, anyway, we did several things, including mail outs and all kinds of things. When we opened the arena, we thought we'd have, still struggle to get signed up, but,
Yes, Karen.
Under completed, under community engagement, should you not add the recording of our meetings?
you could.
That the meetings are available, because it is available to the community, correct?
Yes.
It kind of keeps them engaged. And under planned, where you had said major neighboring municipality engagement, here's a strange idea. Since we're so closely located to Beau Rivage, would it be unusual to have a bilateral meeting? Have the two councils meet?
You certainly could have like a workshop type.
Yeah.
You just share information on how you do things and similarities, differences, successes and non-successes and so forth, and for how you operate. And you do that administratively too. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can certainly do that.
That'd be, yeah.
We met the first year when Elaine was deputy, and it was the two deputies, the two mayors and the CAO. I think that was all that was here, right?
Yeah.
And we met with Beau Rivage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not, yeah, I like that idea, Karen, of having it like with both
Mhm.
full councils, even because it would give an opportunity for the collaboration instead of, double efforts, like whether it's, we could team up more on communication events, we could do the whole stuff, instead of we're doing all
So
of
you
our stuff,
don't-
they're doing all theirs, yeah.
So if they have a winter carnival, we don't have Frosty Fest at the same time, or we know
Yeah.
ahead of time and they're
Well, I
gonna do.
think,
the
I
stuff.
think Emily is
Yeah.
doing that already with the coordinator for Beau Rivage, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
so that's just an example,
Yeah.
right? Like it would be,
Yeah.
we could talk about stuff and, there's
Maybe come up
opportunities
with
to
something
plan
weird.
things
Yeah,
together,
maybe
yeah.
come up with something
We're-
weird for the
we're
two
also-
communities
Yeah,
together.
we're also coordinating with Multiculturalism Day. We do that every year with Beau Rivage.
We're doing the yard sale with them right now.
The yard sale this year, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to pull off sometimes and towns aren't naturally inclined to do it, but I mean, coordinating on procurement.
Yeah.
If you're doing street patching, you might get a better
Yeah.
deal if you did it with.
Fire department.
Fire departments are certainly, transportation.
There it is right there, Wayne.
Okay,
Alert.
right,
I think
right.
that's a really good idea, Karen.
I
Yeah,
have to-
well, yeah, we'll see if we can include it on our busy schedule.
Well, I mean, it's something you can do. I mean, I know we meet other counselors and things at UMNB, but do you ever sit down with a neighboring council to see where their ideas are heading or not? Do you know what I mean? Like, are we
Yeah.
ahead of the curve? Are we behind? Like, you can gauge it yourself, but maybe there's multi things we can come up with to do together.
Yeah.
And like you said, save money on road work or whichever. Hey,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And the
I
only other
occasionally
one,
have an idea.
so we do have, you know, active social media communication, but something else that I would like to maybe see in plan is, we talked about it a couple different times, but having, you know, a few regularly scheduled series posts, you know, did you know this, did you know, or whatever. We've talked about a few here and there, so I think it's something that we could,
Yeah, Emily sent out an email last week, or week before, with anybody, if you had questions, that she would work with Rob, and it
Yeah.
included, did you know, or facts, fun
Yeah.
facts, or whatever, information series, yeah.
I'll say this with some caution, but I mean, one thing we did do, which I, thought was a fun project in way for recreation, where we had, 2 recreation coordinators, they did a podcast every week, and actually was incredibly successful, and I won't say the margin by which it outdrew our council meetings online, but it was substantial.
That's awesome.
It was, yeah, and they would, what they do is they also invite sometimes in the community to sit and speak about something going on in the community and so forth. And it actually was, it ended up being more effective than what I thought it would be. And the guys loved it. One of them, really, they really embraced it.
That's
And took to it.
awesome.
Yeah, and it was low tech, but it was very effective.
Yeah.
They put it on Facebook and
Yeah.
people tuned into
Well,
it.
another idea,
Stowe
another
and Sullivan
idea,
was it.
I've seen ideas on Facebook, like Katie had said, on a more serious note, what is municipality responsible versus provincial versus federal?
Yeah,
So if
especially
you
election time.
decide to become, yes, if you decide to become a municipal councillor, you have no say over roads or bridges or
Yes.
federal health, you know what I mean? And I think something like that could be very informative to the public coming from us, so they know what we can work on versus what's out of our control.
Yeah, actually, we are planning on,
I took a screenshot, I saved it, but it's not exactly
Yeah.
what we're responsible for, it's a bigger
Right.
Yeah.
municipality.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we're planning on doing on our website, putting an FAQ page.
Yeah.
And over time, we'll have like frequently asked questions. That we can, for the answer that sort of thing. And the thing is, people don't go visit the website, but you can put links to it on Facebook and places where people do congregate. Everything we're thinking, the website, for example, we'll put our, property catalog on there. So we'll have a site that shows all the properties we own for developers and things of that sort. So there's a few different, and actually, I always think, a couple of people have come forward and asked about like history, you know, history of Rexon, history of Five Rivers, history of Harcourt. You're kind of unlimited in terms of space on the website. So your local historians or people want to add those sort of things, you can do that on the website. You just organize it well, so you can get the links to it. But you can, it's really good, you know, and then again on Facebook, you can kind of direct people there and it becomes a place people go. So it's, yeah, so there is a lot of that type of stuff
Yeah,
that we're gonna hopefully, over time, we'll be able to populate,
Yeah.
get up on the website
Yeah.
and add some value.
I know it's Community Regional Service Commission thing, but the public safety days,
mhm,
like we do the cultural engagement, we're public safety engagement
mhm,
with other communities, like
yeah,
we take part in that.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So add a note there. Municipal infrastructure, item 6, sewer system project, Barnwell Avenue curbs, and that we've done, and the asset management plan, which again curls into your capital plan. Council chamber upgrades, with more sort of some reconfiguration that we do here, to sort of optimize the space and make more inviting the public as well as the inhabitants of the building. Visitors, in progress, tree patching paving, that's the annual thing, mostly patching, by the way, not so much paving. Municipal signage, we've got, and grant solicitation. Just trying to be more active on that and get the money, because right now, for housing development, the provincial government and federal both sort of launch programs like CHIF, the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund, and the RDC with its pre-construction infrastructure fund. They've made it quite available, but you do have to go after it, and it's a bit of investment of time to do so. And sewer system project 2.0, so that's, we're working with a couple of companies to sort of figure out what the next set of things to be done with the sewer system is. And the sewer system, flushing agreement, that is sort of out there that. the mayor-
Flusher truck.
Flusher truck, yeah.
Yes,
There's an agreement to use the flusher truck, because it is
to pay for,
sharing.
to share the truck, yeah, and an employee.
Which we should have on the agenda plan due in May,
Okay,
sort of to come to a decision on that. I think.
okay, I'm gonna,
Make a recommendation one or the other. I'll let
yes,
you-
yeah,
So on that truck, they already purchased it.
yes,
So how, yeah, so,
but it's not paid for.
no, no.
So we
it-
would, we
It
would,
would be, prorated, whatever, like what they owe now. Then we
Yeah.
would-
yeah, I think they just received a debenture for it, actually, so.
Yeah, so we end up either doing it through contract now or by participating in this shared arrangement with.
How many,
18,000 or something.
Yeah,
how many people are sharing it now?
Percent, 2, 3, maybe
Yeah.
more,
I think
Who
it's
is it?
three. It's three.
yeah,
Who are they?
over.
Champore, Bactouche, and it's
Or
either
Rivage.
Beau Rivage, yeah, Beau Rivage.
Rivage, maybe even Bell Arcady.
Yeah.
Maybe. I
What
thought they
about Grand
opted out.
Cafe?
I thought, I knew they opted out, but maybe they opted in this year. I thought.
Anyway, I just wanted,
It's
yeah.
possible, yeah, well, so we'll put that on the agenda for May.
Yep.
Some things we're missing are, road maintenance and safety for infrastructure. One of them is the corner out here at the end of the 116 and the 134,
Irving's?
by Irving, yeah, to see if we can, well, the plan is to write letters to,
Department of Transportation. Was it
to
premium?
the minister, to have a study
Yeah.
done on that.
I've been 3 years, we've asked, they've always said no.
I know, well, we're gonna ask again,
Okay.
we're gonna keep asking.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, so did you have something else?
Yeah. The road maintenance and safety, Bonner Law Common. That should be on the list. Because we haven't even had a chance to look at that, like, I know there's been communication, but
We reported
Like, could-
a lot of problem.
yeah.
So in there on with the street maintenance, I know it only pertains to here in Ward 4, but could we have some sort of a plan to do, like I know you had mentioned percentage of streets, like have it in there, like, okay, this year we're gonna do like 2 streets for a percentage of the streets that we need, because otherwise they're going to all fall apart. So if we had a plan, like 1 year we go do this street, next year we do these 2 or whatever. And
Yeah, that fall within the asset management plan for sure.
so it's within this here plan.
I think so,
That's-
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what
streets are a big part of that.
right, streets and well, I don't know if it's sidewalks, but I just like a walking, biking, non-motorized.
No, it's the whole, it's curb sidewalks.
Yes, okay.
Rails, the
Yeah.
whole.
And also,
shares.
yeah, and also maintenance and beautification of keeping the what we have, maintaining it.
Yeah.
And keeping it up and not, maybe we can't add a whole lot more, but in some areas, even upriver, maybe there's somewhere we could do something, I don't know, just to make it keep.
Yeah, beautification
I
is
think
definitely should
we
be in
increased our
there.
budget this year to.
Yeah.
To Halls,
Trimming with shrubs and trees. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that.
Some perennials.
the halls, for infrastructure, should that be there?
It's municipal infrastructure, so I don't,
The Lions Club and the Recreation Center,
Yes,
infrastructure,
yes,
upgrades.
yeah.
And we purchased a new fire truck and are in the process of purchasing another fire truck, so that's completed.
Yeah.
One's in
Yeah.
progress, one's completed.
Yeah.
We have a lot on the go.
Should
Yeah.
things be in there that are coming up, Rob? Like I know Beersville Station needs a new roof and there's possible upgrades coming to Harcourt Station. Windows, mini splits, should stuff like that be on there or is that under infrastructure?
It would be for sure, yeah, yeah. I think
Fire
there is,
grades.
yeah, it's municipal infrastructure is the whole thing, so it's all your buildings, properties.
I believe
sewer,
that's already
water,
the 10-year, I believe it's already in the 10-year plan, but I know it's soon, so I just thought I'd mention it.
No, it's definitely belongs.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
gonna be after the access management, so, right.
And we paved the Rexton Fire Department parking lot last year.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
completed.
Yeah.
That wasn't cheap either.
For what?
I said that wasn't cheap either. We paid
Yeah.
the fire department in Weston.
Yeah.
Completed paving the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a good one.
Is it given?
So,
we've done-
oh, sorry.
Those
That's
are under
okay.
management too,
Hmm.
most of those.
Yeah, it's good to point them out though, because they're all very specific and more understandable for people, so, good.
Okay. So it's number 7, natural resource protection.
Yes, so a little lighter list here, but, sewer system project, kind of review in progress, rural plan will certainly can make provision for protection of natural resources and sewer system part 2, and riverbank erosion mitigation, which is something that'll probably come to council's attention in the.
Yeah.
There has been a public, concerns about that.
Emily and I attended the Healthy Coast,
The what?
session, Healthy Coast session.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so.
Where was that?
It was in Rishabako, so we're on that committee, actually. I think Emily will be attending that, so, and it's about, erosion. Damage to the dunes, the cave, and, yeah, all the stuff. Environmental things, I don't know if we'll add, Denise Melanson, we support the Bill 19, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Environmental. What was that called?
Safe environment, wasn't it?
What was it?
Safe environment
Yeah, yeah,
was legislated by David Kuhn.
healthy environment, something like that, yeah.
That was the last.
All residents are the healthy air and.
Water, yeah,
Water and.
yeah.
Healthy lifestyle.
yes. Anything else? Go to 8. Quality of life enrichment.
So addition, without repeating, like sewer system does show up here in part 1 and 2, which I won't repeat, but the rec center plan, which is sort of ongoing, we actually closed out I think the window for the RFP is closed, so.
What does that
It
mean?
was about to. We gave a certain time for people to offer proposals on operating the Indian rec center.
Did we get some?
I think we got one. One. So, that is. Rec programs, of course, are a big part of that. Beautification mentioned earlier by Councilor Warren. Potentially trans aqua, that may not belong or fit so neatly there. But,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it for sure?
it does. I mean,
but some quality.
Might want to put that up with environment.
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
Well, that's a good one, yeah.
yes. Transact well.
Yeah, probably belongs there, that probably belongs there better more than it does,
Yeah.
Quality of life.
What is it? Transact review. Number 7.
If,
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah,
It's under 8, under 7.
is that? Go ahead.
so is that?
Oh, it
maybe
is
sitting
under
We just agreed to be sign up for
Age-friendly communities, yeah, for number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Like Richmond, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, it should be.
Committee, yeah.
And I know it's not, it fits in with that anyway, but like if we participate in municipality week and
Wellness week,
health wellness
We always
week.
do.
health and wellness week.
So those, yeah,
What about the community garden?
Yeah, that, the community garden, yes.
Community, and it's community cleanup day where we clean up the ditches and
Right?
beautification.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
we don't have our beach set yet. I see Rishabakto, Rivage. They're doing a community cleanup week,
Yeah, we are as well.
but we don't have a date.
I think she advertised.
Yeah. Oh, the
Ellen?
children.
So I advertised.
It's on
Elsie
the-
Buckduck, Elsie Buckduck is doing a big one right now, huge.
Awesome.
It's all over Facebook. It's massive.
So
Cool.
That's really good. Telling everybody their garbage bags, where to go, that like they're very organized. It's really good idea.
Mhm. Anything else for quality of life enrichment?
Should we put something in there even though we don't know where we're going with the ATVs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's in the-
There's 2 actually. There's the non-motorized trail system, but there's also
Walking
the
trails.
motorized trail system
Yeah.
as well, ATVs.
So just put in trail systems maybe,
Yeah,
under planned?
Yes,
Yeah.
something there, yeah.
plan, that the trail system we'll get a report, I think it's in June. On that,
Okay, whether or not
Jane,
our Kent County wants it.
what the, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that trail, that they're trying to put trails throughout.
That's that.
Yeah.
And Beau Rivage has come up with a draft, haven't they,
Is this-
that we received?
Yeah, bylaw,
Yeah,
proposed bylaw, yeah. Okay, number 9, strengthen partnerships.
So, I mean, I think that, anyway, I had KRC engagement is already pretty strong and in many ways. Regional email plans, which are early and ongoing, I should say, but there's some in place now. Housing development support, sort of, that's where, whenever you do apply for grants for housing, we'll talk about one of those items enclosed. There's a lot of partnership there that's involved and right down, including official agreements. Community center upgrades, so that's Lions Club upgrades, baseball field, Chamber of Commerce engagement, Berlin Club agreement, I've got his plan. And facility use with schools. Now that one I did add up, we had a mutual, I'm not aware that you have one that's here, but we had an arrangement where we could use their facilities and they could use ours. So it was sort of a training arrangement. So I was, yeah, and there's 3 schools here. In Harlan, there was just the one. Maybe simpler in some ways, but in any event, yeah, there's probably some opportunity there to make use, like especially in summer, when students are out, we could use gymnasiums and things of that sort. And they could use their ball fields and other things like soccer fields and so forth. So we had, the town had a soccer field, they had a soccer field, so there was arrangement how we both how to use those stuff.
Also, I think mentioning one stuff, didn't we talk about maybe trying to figure out some more, isn't pickleball like taking
No,
the West one?
It's on the rise.
Everywhere.
Yeah, is there somewhere that we could put, cause it's basically just, you just need a slab, right? And you can, same as
we-
almost tennis, like,
We had it last year on the outdoor, I think it was last year on or the year before outdoor rink. But the problem was that the ground isn't straight, so the ball would help with the curve.
But in the recreation
It's not
center.
that you could, but the rink floor, it's like
Right.
the arena.
Yeah, it would be, most places it's in.
The other thing you
like
can,
the ice.
Yes.
yeah, what you can do is, you can purchase like tile floor.
Yes, the plastic almost,
Yeah,
yeah,
they just.
they click together.
Click together, yeah.
Yes.
They're about 10,000, I think, for court, but you could, potentially make that up with use.
And it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be competitive with Body Bosch because they have like a really high demand, so
Yes, like.
yeah, they're always really full, yeah.
It can't get in there. They're very competitive.
Sure.
I mean, like, you wouldn't be taking away.
No,
from
yeah,
them,
no,
it's
no, no.
like a-
But there's a group that goes to the elementary school.
Yeah.
Karen, you had something to add?
I think it'd be a really good use off-season, in the other side of the rec center, except I think the ceilings are too low. That would have to be checked.
You just couldn't lob.
What's that?
There'd be no lobbing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Pickleball is funny, you just couldn't lob.
The competitive people can go to Boogie Bosch, and then the people who just wanna have a good time.
The lobbers.
Exactly.
I mean, that's become so popular, they made a documentary.
That's
about
awesome.
people, if you can imagine. Anyway, back to baseball field upgrades, Lion Club upgrades, community center upgrades. Should that not be under infrastructure as well?
You could certainly make a case for it being there, yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
better.
we put it in multiple
Yeah.
places. It just maybe looks like more.
yeah, no, I mean, part of the challenge is, you almost want a matrix where you just, you have a list of columns, a list of rows, and as a single matrix to show, so you can have a long list of initiatives, and that's probably what I'll move this to, is some sort of, depiction like that, because it is hard to, there's several items that really belong in multiple places, but,
Yeah,
and that way you can just do a matrix, that's easier,
yeah.
yeah.
We could add, the Historical Society.
I was gonna say organization, or make local organization, because there's more than one.
The Historical Society is certainly on the list,
Right.
again, with the matrix.
They're at Bonner Law Common, so that's, yeah.
And then
Yes.
the Bishop River Historical Society.
Shabbat's.
Put
That was
neighboring,
Mr. Flanagan.
you put neighboring communities or municipalities.
And, just, I've been in touch with, 4 people, 2 or 3 from Ontario that are coming home this summer, and are bringing items back to the area. To keep to the museum
Awesome.
that are originally from here.
Yeah, wonderful. Natalie just brought up a point, neighboring municipalities. Communities.
I thought we had that.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think,
we-
underneath this section, I think it's what the,
Yeah. Very good, Natalie. Once again, we're gonna have a biannual or an annual workshop with Beau Rivage,
Yes.
and we're not playing pickleball. Just saying.
How much?
We're gonna play pickleball to see who gets to host.
No, because Arnold will kick our butt like he plays like 6 days a week.
But that's fine, because then he could host and then feed us lunch, so we're gonna win-win.
And we can ask for lobster.
He does the competition.
Yes.
And we'll ask for lobster sandwiches.
Exactly. Yeah,
If what we love.
Okay. We finished with strengthening partnerships.
If we beat
That
that.
was number 9. Number 10, showcase natural environment.
so, one thing that, Carson's Landing Promotion BLC, I was gonna say in the website videos and photos, one thing I found out is that, the KRSC has a, drone. And, you can use and it takes really nice photos, so, again, for the website, but just in general, you could, it would be a really good thing to, and we do have, by the way, we have, contracted a professional photographer to do some in it as well, so you could do both. The other thing you could do is, and then do the community engagement is you could have, not a contest, but you could have a thing where you just say, hey, share your take your favorite photos of Five Rivers and send them into the town. We'll feature them on a page and they become a property. So we have that as well.
Yeah.
We've done them, but you could do that almost every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I've been to one once and I saw the photos, it was remarkable. It's a wedding I did, and if there's a drone and we were having weddings at the Balmoral Farm this summer, if we had a drone and just for them, that would make money for Biden.
If you gave them a small discount.
Yes.
They might
Yeah.
allow you to take pictures for promotion.
Yeah, yeah, that would be really cool for us too.
For the
Win-win.
photos, we'd almost need, it'd be nice to have categories, right? Because you
Yeah.
don't have farms. You have people that have blueberry fields. You have people that, do you know what I mean? There's so
Yeah.
many different wood lots or shore lots or like,
Avenues.
Yep.
Yeah.
If people vote, you could have a contest where people, the public votes on their favorite photos. And then, but in order to vote, they have to sign up for the notifications.
Oh, that's where they vote on there.
It's really easy to log in.
Yeah, oh, it's just getting people to do it.
Yeah,
just get them engaged.
Yeah.
Maybe during an event, someone could sit there with the laptop and say, hey, do you want to sign up for it?
I see, the beautification is there, Elaine, annual beautification in progress, trail protection and off-road vehicles are there, and Bonner Law Common Upgrades is also there. The rural plan is planned, the climate action plan. And, rural river boat launches.
So that's something the planning committee, the council may not be aware of, but we have had a member of a resident of Five Rivers ask about the possibility of getting boat launches installed on like St. Nicholas, Mollis, Pass River, Mollis. Nice.
Roller.
Mollis.
Roller.
did you call
I need to find it.
It's Molus.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, yeah. Mollis.
So, what about, I don't know where I got this from, if I was speaking to you about that, Rob, or not? Asset mapping of what we have here for tourism, things,
Yeah.
B&Bs, campgrounds, boat launches, like, everything that's here.
Yeah, sorry, say it.
Asset mapping,
Aspen, okay.
yeah.
Another thing we did, I don't know, this may be something I at the risk of embarrassing and not knowing. Do we have like a Google map that we created for our website? Like, you can create a Google map and save it on your site and people can go and pick it and find the different
No.
place. You have,
I believe so.
There's been one, but it was only like how to get here, basically.
Good idea.
yeah, we did end up doing one of those, one of the ladies, yeah, so you just put it on the website and
Yeah.
all the spots of interest, you can, yeah. You do it.
Because
And
there's restaurants and stuff right on the river. Like,
Yeah.
isn't there one down in Brown's Yard?
Yeah.
Like a restaurant, like everybody hangs out there.
It's only seasonal, they're only seasonal though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's been done
I was
years
there.
ago, but
yeah,
Yeah.
I moved it.
also,
them.
as,
Who's that, Ernie Duero?
The other side of the
It's
river.
another,
Who is it?
who is it, Mike?
I don't know.
I can't remember the name. I have the card, but I can't, they're key, they're booked here.
Oh,
Aren't they done by Terry Taylor's?
The other side,
The
but.
other side of the river.
Yeah.
They're on the church side.
Yeah.
Tourism exit surveys as well.
Hey,
Let's see. And I know this is a lot and we're going to, anyways, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when we're finished going through the list. Okay, anything else there for showcase natural environment?
can we look at some winter activities?
So
Like,
what?
is winter activities, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing? Are any of those things available? Like, we could use our trails. If we have walking trails, couldn't we snowshoe on them or
Yep, sure.
cross-country ski? Or we're always focusing on summer and we leave out a unfortunate part of our year, which is
Yeah.
winter.
Yeah. You do wonder if something like Bonner Law, you know, like winter sculpture or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. Harvest festival.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we always seem to focus on summer. I just thought it might be a good idea to
Yeah.
something winter related.
The other seasons, yeah. Fishing derby.
Oh, yes. Lots of.
11, strengthening the economy.
So I put in the competitive tax rates and fees, so the multiplier, your tax rates, your water fees. Development incentives, which we already, which town already has. In progress, municipal infrastructure is all of it. Housing development support, GMB and GC relationships, KRC relationships, taking, like, everything like the sharing, if it turns out to be more economical to do the shared, it's cost sharing on the, street flushing and so forth.
Yeah.
And B&B's where the grants are and GC. Chamber of Commerce engagement, figuring out how to do that, what to do, online municipal property catalog. Just advertising effectively and what properties the town has, not that you're saying they're for sale, but just for property that do have development potential and, making them visible to, the public.
With, I don't know where it goes, but it's, and we can't do any book, not the whole area does, but it's our Wi-Fi and cell service in this area. And so somehow, like, that's strengthened the economy because for businesses in the business park, is the Wi-Fi, so I think that that's not, and cell services.
Are you, not that you take too much of a digression, but have you ever heard of GoFred? GoFred is short for Fredericton, so they had a public Wi-Fi all throughout downtown Fredericton for years. I think it still exists. I know at the, we did a small thing in Heartland, the arena, that we made a public Wi-Fi available inside and outside the building. So we have ball fields around it. But you can decide to do things like that and create public internet, that may, may provide, service.
That's a really good idea. Because you can use Wi-Fi to, if you don't have cell service, you go on Wi-Fi call and you have full service. I know like Moncton does it on their buses and a bunch of other places. So that's possibly a really good idea to look into in the summer, like at Monterlaw Commons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I've been, like, when I mentioned the pickleball, like, I'm trying to think if there's a place that would make sense to add in some more, outdoor, sports and recreation options for kids and stuff and whatever. So if we had a place that was just, a big big paved pad, we can have a couple basketball nets and we can have a spot where they can do, you can do pickleball or tennis or whatever. And just, and that, is again an option that we can kind of go for beautification. We can, have a bit of a park and whatever, just trying to have more options for kiddos and stuff to have stuff to do. Like, that'd be a great place to add some Wi-Fi too, because if the kids are all there,
Yeah.
friggin' on their phones outside with their friends playing basketball,
Do
I'm
we
sure-
own any?
Are you sure we want Wi-Fi?
Well, and that's the thing, it's like yes and no, but it's like if you build it, they will come. Like I'd rather at least.
So Bass River does have, sets of pickleball.
Oh, they do?
They do, yes. They were bought when, Sonia was here. No,
Okay.
no, Connor. It
Connor.
was with
Connor.
Connor. And
We bought them.
yes, he
Yeah.
bought them for Bass River, and there's sets at the rec center as well.
That's-
They are.
That's the other thing, we do have things and no,
Yes.
everybody doesn't know it.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why.
It's community,
Even that list, like that you were saying, like our municipal asset list, like of all the buildings and stuff, like, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe you already did send it out, I just didn't look at
We
it.
also have the shuffleboard equipment that.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, so like having, but yeah, I don't know, as we keep talking, like it just keeps coming up to my head, I'm like, what kind of other stuff, especially now that it's like surplus, and of course, I'm like, okay, well,
Oh, I think I already got that, I'll spin. I got it.
We never had the position to.
Yeah.
Do we own any land around the rec center that we're not using?
Well, the ball field property across the street from the rec center, it does have a history, so what you could do with it, but it's certainly a very large piece of land that we are only making small use of currently, and I wouldn't say there is no potential or conceivable use for that, if there is.
Another thing,
There's land we own behind that,
Yes.
that's gating the,
Where we are,
it's dumb, but
yeah.
What
like
about a
branches and
soccer
things like that.
field? What about a soccer field?
Yeah.
there's one at the.
Is
Bonner
there any
Law.
Isn't there?
Bonner
around
Law.
there have one?
They have
Like,
all
I
their
don't
kids
know
at the school.
Where's
Basketball, that's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have, yeah, that's used
But,
quick, about.
I didn't see
soccer? You
them.
could almost start a league. You could almost start a league with soccer with kids.
Yes.
Yeah, there's one at the Bonner Law.
There's like Nathan with his soccer every summer and it's not for the school, but they're held at all the different.
Yeah.
schools.
Exactly.
Oh, I have one to add, to strengthen the economy is the buy local.
That's,
Yeah,
buy local policy.
Yeah.
Very good.
and so, with the Wi-Fi and internet, we have spoken to the government, so that's with the province. Jean-Pierre brought that up when you
Yeah,
were at advocacy days, he brought it up to three different, leaders at the advocacy days. So-
It's been going on for 3 years.
Oh, I know.
It's just
I know.
like,
Yeah,
He
just had
The
to.
dog with a bone.
Okay,
John,
so,
he is a dog with a bone on that. He
Yeah.
spoke to all of them publicly at the microphone, and he also spoke to a few of them privately. He
Yeah.
will not stop.
it's a
It won't
safety
happen.
issue,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, number 12, attract and retain business.
Yeah, what kind of thing, and again, this is probably just because I don't know anything, but like what kind of thing, so, okay, I wanna open a business and I show up here and I'm like, hey, I wanna, open up a smoothie bar on Main Street, whatever, like, what kind of things does a business owner, what do they pay us? Like, what are there things that they have to pay us for?
Just.
Not that
Just property tax.
It's really just like property tax, so.
And you have to get a
Right.
permit.
Cause I'm just wondering, what kind of things can we offer incentives? So, okay, like, so if we said like, if you make your, especially if someone's building or whatever, but like, if you do X, Y, Z, you will get ABC, rebates on your first month, or you know what I mean?
I
Like,
think we have a
We haven't.
Yeah.
investment.
we have for that
Yeah,
investment.
we
Now
do.
it's in a commercial
Yeah.
bill.
so that's what I wondered, like, what other kind of options, like even just like, so if we're joining this, friendly, what is it, the friendly neighborhood? Yeah,
Each friendly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what if we included stuff like, ensuring that, everything is accessible in your place? Cause like, it's things that are, everyone should do technically, but.
To be.
Yeah, little things like that, or, like if you make your sign. Or just other things that will,
Well, we've done that already. We have to come up with something new.
but that's what I mean, like continuing to think of what are other things that we can, basically, if we give them more options for incentives, cause like. Cutting them a break on, their first, let's say they can accrue discounts for the first year. They're, you know what I mean, like in the long run, it's not gonna hurt us that much.
No, and we could do like a video, maybe they could start it.
Yes.
Right.
Like,
But the number
We
one,
could like be the food tasters and what's great for seniors, senior discounts and.
Yeah, that's
I
not to speak too
think
much into it. Economic development's one of the hardest things to tackle because when you're talking about where businesses decide to set up, it has to do with so many factors, the workforce being available, access, transport routes or wherever their markets are, where there's sources of supply in your markets. So at the end of the day, municipal policy tends to have a smaller,
Mhm.
and you do get into like in Moncton for the Walmart distribution center, you get the big bidding wars there, but it does primarily property taxes. But a lot of businesses locate, and I always say the best two things you can do to support economic development or support housing and to have as well-run and looked after town as you can as possible. Like ultimately, those things have more to do with inviting, and welcoming people, like if, you know, if you have more people, you know, more, then you,
Yeah.
then it's good for business, I mean, yeah, so.
Karen wants a Tim Hortons in Clearwater.
Yes. I'll settle for one in Harcourt. But I think a competitive tax
Harcourt's
rate
get them
is the
all.
first thing a business is gonna look at. And I believe that's one thing we can offer besides the vast, you have a vast array of where you could build or
Mhm.
whichever. And I believe the competitive tax rate is the first thing they're gonna look at. What's it gonna cost me? If I move from Moncton to Rexton Industrial Park, what are my savings? Oh, look at the tax. That's the first thing they're gonna look at. And they look at the condition of the city or the town or the village or the municipality. And if it's welcoming and it's down home that they're looking for, you got her, Pontiac.
Yeah,
We got that,
it's not.
GM's here.
And low rate,
There's
the business part.
a
4,000
lot of
It's
complex
yeah.
factors. Yeah, tax rates end up being sort of a phenomenal
Yeah.
thing, because you're looking at tax rate differentials, and a lot of towns already, I mean, Moncton competes with Fredericton, St. John, Halifax, throughout town, so
Mhm.
you're in a, yeah, it's a tough league to compete in someone, not to be, I'm not being negative, just say realistically, yeah, like incentives have less of an impact.
And that's what you were talking about when you talked about the business park and people, different people wanting to buy, like
Yeah.
what we can offer them, what they can offer us, like it's a bargaining chips, right?
And not to call it an elephant in the room, the fact of having water or not having water also is a big, for certain types of businesses is a huge factor in where they locate, so you can target, those that for which water is essential.
Right.
Like you would never have a potato processing plant
Yeah,
because you need water, so.
Yeah. so, okay. Not a lot we can do.
But like, for business, that would be, yeah,
Incentive program.
Yeah.
in here, our
Yeah.
business.
To grow our
Incentives,
yeah.
yeah. This program, yeah, but maybe we were gonna look at that, Rob, and that one,
Yeah,
but that would.
well, I mean,
That's a
it's
big,
certainly
I
to
mean,
the
I
extent
think it's a
that,
big thing, because there's a lot of incentive in that program as it is,
yeah,
and like even connecting the sewer to in the business on Main Street. That, like if there was a business gonna set up there, like those things.
yeah, and to state up to council or deputy mayor's point, the multiplier is a big factor in your tax rate. It's not tax rate, it's a multiplier. So, going between 1.4 and 1.7 are the options. So where you land in that spectrum makes a huge difference. Yeah. So we, not again to speak, but, we were very cognizant in Heartland of what the rate was in Carlton and what it was in Woodstock. Yeah, and, set it accordingly. So we would stay competitive with or under them. Yeah.
What about safety and RCMP presence for a business?
Certainly,
That's
yeah.
Public safety.
Protective services in general.
Right.
But certainly fire and
Fire,
coverage and certainly,
the proximity to.
Bylaw guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
Hell yeah, like.
enforcement, yeah.
for certain types of business, maybe a disincentive. Very active one.
The new position that we will be having, the planning and finance specialist, will help to develop, and retain, hopefully attract and retain business.
Yeah, the beautification, so like what is stopping us from just tossing in some, what if we just buy a big ass bulk bag of perennial seeds and just, toss them in here and there, like little spots, like instead of necessarily going ham with like putting in a full on like flower bed into all the different spots or whatever, or the pots, like what if we just.
If we don't own the land, we can't do it.
No, but I mean the places we do, and the places like the Well, I know there was a problem with visibility with the huge shrubs there at one
Some
point.
perennial-
You know, little stuff.
perennial.
They'll do them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's a little.
that's a great idea and you get color, but the thing is, you gotta know how to throw your seeds, because
Yeah, and they grow.
and the birds eat them up quick now.
But
You
that
gotta
could
get
be
them in at the right time.
In an area that's,
Yeah,
Yeah, I tell to the point, I mean, look, every decision you make is about time, resources, money and so forth, but it certainly, if you take a water autonomy, it takes it from like a 6 or 7 to a 9 or 10. If it suddenly was like really decorated or
Yeah.
decked out with like great flower shrubs and so.
Yeah,
one,
So you could see where you could have in a park, like that's the difference between a standard park, if you will, and an exceptional.
yeah, well, and that's the thing, and if we go for, perennials and native species that, like, they're gonna continue to, proliferate themselves. So it's
It's
not
also-
just little annuals we need to keep adding every year.
It's also.
That's right,
potentially-
that's right.
And look, this would all take work and effort, but is there a community of people here that would be interested in being like a community garden, of maybe doing that? Doing some pressure or,
Yeah.
off the town, and that you made it both a community thing and we had like, best garden,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So, yeah, no, I think that.
we could even have that contest, best decorated garden, and somebody gets a trophy at the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Bragging rights,
Yeah, we do beautiful.
Communities in blue.
community in bloom, yeah.
So I mean, you think of that large area
Yeah,
Marlow that used to.
We're not belonging to
It's just-
that unless you paint this year.
Fallow field.
yeah,
You don't belong to that unless you paint this year.
There's so the other thing about the community garden, because the way we have our community garden right now, it's a plot that if anyone wants to grow stuff, they can, right?
Yes,
So
vegetables.
what about having, and this would be a question for, the staff that work there in the summer, but what about having a section that our summer students take care of? And then it all goes to the food bank.
So I think the way it worked last year was nobody owned it. It was
Yeah.
all public, and the food that they took from it, they put in Emma Farley built a free cabinet that they
Mhm.
put in, and then anybody could
Yeah,
take the food.
Cause they do plant, like the staff do plant their section of a garden,
Mhm.
but they have them separated by.
Yeah.
how you want to use it from the community too, but they do plant themselves a specific amount of it.
yeah.
But-
So like, how big is it though? Like, let's
It's
make
not
it
very big.
bigger.
There's 2 gardens, so it really depends the space they'll use based on who requests to go in and use it, and they'll
Yeah.
divide it by how many. It's kind of gone down after
It was-
COVID, we used to have more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can build it back up again. The other thing I want to stress is, even though that's vegetable garden, there's no,
You okay?
there's lots of room there to build flower gardens too.
Yeah, but and having a bit of both. A lot of the, there's a lot of flowers that are beneficial to have intermingled with your gardens,
But,
but yeah,
we had that presentation by a student one time to have things that would attract bees again in certain areas.
100%.
It was a school project that
Yes.
had participated.
That's right.
But right, so if we increased this,
We
the
know,
use and the size of our community garden, if we
Students,
put it, more of it onto our summer students,
Yes.
what if we add a summer student? That's what I mean, like, are they already?
So they may have already been taken, yeah, because of the activities that go on the farm
Mhm.
and with Murray now, I'm sure that will be discussed.
The applications have already closed for
Mhm.
student positions and different programs, and also like they apply for multiple and different positions and you only get so many.
Mhm.
We apply for a lot of different positions, but you only get.
But what if we add, like, couldn't we just add a third position? Like, do you mean for the grants and stuff?
Yeah,
But like, how much does it cost to pay a summer student?
we paid 19,000 last year for
Wow.
2 and it was 50% covered, so you
Yeah.
can imagine.
So,
Yeah. that-
right,
Or-
so, because that's what I wondered, because is it minimum wage or it's Like how much?
Well, it's minimum wage, but we top up usually, because then we have a hard time competitively.
Yeah, well, just because that's what I was wondering, like, I was trying to see really quick, so I was like, minimum is 15
And they all,
something, so.
the grants pay 50%.
Mhm. Anyways, I don't know, again, I'm just like, I have a surplus, and I'm like, okay, what can we spend our money on? Oh, let's give our kids jobs and,
Marley,
you know.
Marley's returning,
What?
she's familiar this
Guys
year
can
with the
serve
site,
too.
so she's gonna be doing.
No, no, I know,
It's
it's
just
just-
gonna keep.
Yeah.
That's when ideas
There's
come.
only so many times to prep things.
To now.
Yeah.
we really-
Yeah, it'll start being better now that we have a full-time position.
Right, and so Emily and Mario have already opened the garden. They had a garden day. I don't know if anybody showed
Oh,
up.
I went.
You
And then
went?
she, no, I was gonna go and she told me it was canceled.
Yeah, I think they didn't get anyone.
Well, like, oh, maybe I was the only one who was going.
Well,
She told me it was canceled.
Yeah, it wasn't a nice day, I don't think.
Yeah, it ended up, it was all right.
Was it? Okay.
Yes.
I couldn't go. I had meetings, so.
No, I told her.
We'll
and she-
have to talk to Emily about that. and-
What's like Wednesday afternoon or something?
So.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Draw a random day.
Yeah, it was a random day, we had talked.
Anyway, the point being, to put a bow on it, but, there are other, you know, we've got a guy that's like a food forest specialist upriver. That, you know, again, if we wanna like slowly we could be increasing, our perennial, food forest, you know, base around that garden. Things that will continue to bloom, which is, they're pretty, they attract the bees, and they have food. They will produce some more things that we can put, whether it goes in the cupboard or whether it goes straight to the food bank, but yeah.
We're also developing a food resiliency strategy with the Kent Regional Service Commission. So,
I shared the survey link on our website.
yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on to 13. This is our last one before we go on to the rest of the story.
Yeah, I think the two we've already mentioned in the completing in progress, and I have talked about, but we don't have any specific idea yet, but the signature annual event.
Yeah, and we have a community development specialist as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, and so what I did was I don't know, you know, yeah, Steve Cudley, that he had this very famous book that came out probably 20 years ago, and he dug up big rocks, and it was a concept, but basically, I say here's, you may have read this, but 12 months until the election. Don't, you know, you don't want to try and boil the ocean, or there's a lot of big stuff to do, and part of being able to get it done is not diluting your attention or your focus on too many things. And you can, as much as you'd want to do 100 things, you will probably realistically only be able to do a subset. And so what I listed here were 10 things to just go through, like the rural plans are given, we will. So, and I think the mayor mentioned this before, that right now we're putting a push on updating bylaws and policies, because in September, when that starts, there will not be many bylaw and policy work taking place. It'll all be concentrated on getting that rural plan done, which will take place over a couple month period.
from September to the end of December will be the rural plan.
Yeah.
And it'll go to the public in January, so we'll have public sessions.
So it's a good illustration of the point that if you want to do bylaws and policies, you have until August to do them.
Right.
And after that, it's over.
We don't have.
It's the
any-
rural plan. So it'll be exceptionally hard to do much.
Which is a bylaw, which is a bylaw.
Yeah. Which is a right, which is a bylaw. The financial management, now that we've got the audit done, that sort of opens the door to work with Sarge to look at the chart of accounts and the reporting and Sage 300 and what we can do there to sort of improve and standardize our reporting. What you can imagine as a practical matter is what he had for that fund accounting report is really what you'd want to be able to produce with some level of efficiency every month. That level of detail, maybe slightly less, not probably much more, but certainly that's what you should be able to drive out of your system without having to do a lot of manual, without having to go through a lot of manual effort. So it's a good, improved communications. The annual report will take time. Emily's already started on that, the website she's working on, social media, improved recreation programs, civic events with the arrival of Marley And, that can be in the rec center plan, which we'll get to now that the ARP window is concluded. Active support for housing development, and actually I was called by someone who was going to invite the meeting in May still, the Shoreway fellow who was just going to introduce himself. And sewer system project 2.0, that is a big one because as in some ways boring as it may seem to talk about sewer systems and everything, if you like, it's the thing that you have to get right and you have to protect and make sure it works properly. And because you do not want that to fail in any serious or basic way. And everything else is hinged on that. Municipal signage and branding, what I've mentioned, I think to Mayor and a couple of people is now that you're with a year left to go in the election with Five Rivers being new thing. So creating some welcome to signs and entry points into the town. Announce Five Rivers, and there's a couple ways we'll talk about that May 16th. You do that. We want to try and get that done in the next 12 months, like a part of this council's legacy, and going to the next election. Rural Community Center investment, which is part of our capital plan, and municipal team strengthening. That is not directly speaking the role of council, but it is an acknowledgement of the fact that with 3 to 4 new people, sort of walking new roles, retirement, long serving, a treasurer and sort of an office manager. We replace training, like much of Natalie's time, for example, in recent days have been just getting Tiffany up to speed on things with the new public works person about to join, Marley joining board. So there's a lot of sort of, we talked about council orientation and training earlier.
Staff.
Same sort of rule applies for new folks coming on, and you can't expect them to be going 100 miles an hour on day one. This rather long list will be sort of in some ways ramped up to as they get on board. And so that to me is kind of
So rural community center investment, what's that?
that's the Greenwood and Bathurst.
The community halls.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Did I say? Yeah, I said center, but community hall
Community halls.
/ center. Yeah. Now, in saying that, I'll just say. Without getting too much of a story, personal. Years ago, when I was, I had a large team, it's sort of my first time managing a large team of people. I used to say we got 85% of everything done, 100% of nothing. So we tried to take on 50 initiatives, and they'd ask, well, we got this done? No, we're close, or we're working on it. You got that done? No, we're close and working on it. And so what you have to do is sort of like ruthlessly commit to doing a handful of things and seeing them through to completion, getting over the finish line, and you also have to rather ruthlessly kick stuff off and say, we're not gonna spend time with it, we're not gonna, focus attention. And I say we, I mean, administrative and council, that you're gonna kind of say, okay, it would be nice to do this, but we're not, we know the next 12 months is gonna get focused. So what I did, like, for example, it came to our attention that there was and by the way, these recommendations or thought, idea, advising council on, certainly you're welcome to, have a different perspective on those things. But we recently got an email that said, hey, you're interested in changing the voting words or changing, here's the process you can follow to do that.
From the government?
From province, yes.
Oh, because we haven't even.
No, and I
It's
don't
not
think,
an issue with
to me,
us.
it's not. No, I think there were other,
Non-issue.
I mean, I knew of one case where a town had like 9 councillors, I think, and they had been advised maybe they might want to consider downsizing to 7 sort of thing, and that kind of thing. So for us, I think we're fine.
Yeah.
HR policy, I have got an external person to just sort of look at and sort of see if there are any major gaps or issues or things we should fill in.
Outsourcing that.
Yeah.
Good, yeah, so we don't have to, we just have to
Yeah.
pass the.
I think the internal policy, as much as one could say, like when I say internal policy, I mean like the org structure and ways of nominating people and all. I think that for a lot of reasons would be a great thing to invest in the next 12 months. I think it's something that probably is better done in 2026 and beyond. Now the bottom on fire protection and prevention, yes, but new and big plans for community wellness, climate action, tourism, those are really tough things that have, in some cases, nominal return on investment, but they certainly can consume a tremendous amount of like time and attention. Business development plan, economic development plan, again, similar thing, big IT changes. Look, we're incrementally gonna look at improving things, but I think this is not a great time to think about going to Android operating systems or to do a big thing like just stay the course and use the tools you have and, you know, use them well and don't. We'll be doing something too, contract for waste collection, policing, animal control, insurance. I was part of a group that looked at forming a local policing alternative to the incumbent RCMP service in Heartland and Carroll North, and that was a tremendous amount of time we put into that, and that was a huge investment of time.
It's not even,
And it's not even, I'm saying they don't even go there.
Yeah, no.
It's like,
no,
you can say, like, some people, the animal control say, use a local service instead of the SPCA. That's not, it's not, we're settled for that.
and the Canal Tourist Commission does the waste collection as well. Insurance,
Sorry, it's what you're, yeah, insurance, you kind of say like going, you know, with insurance providers and switching your, you know, changing your life insurance and all that kind of thing, policies, they just say, well, just, we've got them in place and for now they're fine, and I don't think they need a major revisit. Major municipal upgrades mean like, you know, talking about doing major overhauls of this building or other buildings and I would say major road work in the short term again. Frankly, it's just not feasible for both money and for time. Because, I mean, if you look at the practical matter is, we are down one member of Public Works and we won't have a new person for best case scenario a month, probably could be 2 or 3 even.
Yeah.
And so what, you've got to be somewhat circumspect in what you think you can actually take on and do. So that's even that's an aggressive, the 10, if we accomplished or did those well, I think you could be very pleased with the result, you know.
we have 1 year left.
Yeah, so that's the,
Not even, because.
yeah,
Before May. You know, people, if they're willing to reoffer, will start campaigning. Yeah,
Right.
so,
yeah, and that's the other thing too, you gotta really, like, in the last month or two, like of the new year, you know, before the election, council itself would be highly distracted by who's staying, who's running, who's reoffering, and all those things, and you're gonna be occupied partly being a good old fashioned politician and going out there. So your own attention will be limited by that, so you really got the, a fairly modest window. And like in the rural planning, I think you can't overstate how consuming that will be once you get there.
does anyone have any thoughts on like the big rocks on the back burner?
Yeah, there's one last thing for the signage. So we have 2 communities that, and I know everyone's gonna be, because I mentioned it before, but there's 2 other communities in New Brunswick. One is a new one because since the reform that has their name, a separate name in English and French. So Grand Falls also is, has always been, but Heron Bay up north. They're in French as Big as Heron, because their name is the thing. I think I would like if you could look into if there's any other listener. Just, I see no downside and only benefits to having, depending on how many signs we want to put up. Like, let's say we put, because they'll do that in Dieppe a lot, like the signs of things that are facing Dieppe will be the French version. And the one facing Moncton will be the English version. So if we have a welcome to Five Rivers sign that's facing Beau Rivage, well, that one could say, welcome to or bienvenue à Saint-Rivière. It's something that, because we're doing, like, these signs are going up brand new, it's not something that we have to pay extra money to change or translate or whatever. Now is the time to look into the option of doing that.
And you mean like the name, the municipality?
Yeah. Yeah, and I looked into it a while ago, legality wise, it's the same thing as my legal name being Caitlin, but I go by Katie. The only time the full name matters is if someone's suing us and we have to write Five Rivers.
Right.
So
I think,
the way you brand yourself is up to you.
No, it's, and that's something we'll talk about at the May meeting, but I mean, bilingual aspect, whether you go forward and you think about trying to create a tagline, whether you say, again, I swear to God, I was saying Harlan, but when we put up signs, we had, there was a strong, support for, referring to the local area. So what we did is like, here, the equivalent, when we say, welcome to Rexon, community of Five Rivers, was the way we did it. which, and so welcome to Hardcore Community of Five Rivers, welcome to Wellford Community of Five Rivers. It's an option, and the big one was Wellford and Rexton, and the smaller print, although still visible, was Community of Five Rivers. That, and I'll have to say initially, for full disclosure, I was probably more supportive of saying Five Rivers big and the other small, but I came to see the sense of the other. And it was a thing that both helped bond the community, and it gave recognition, and it's still told you were in Five Rivers.
Right, but you're not, I'm sorry, you're not saying, okay, say Harcourt, welcome to Harcourt, community of Five Rivers. The only thing you want is
Yeah.
a community of, or like.
So, yeah, so we already talked
Not
about having
Harcourt.
them all.
Not,
We
because
already-
Harcourt is Harcourt.
we always
Yeah,
do
Rexton is
welcome,
Rexton, you
yeah,
can't.
many
yeah.
Epsilon, we do try Langlo.
Terrible.
We do the three because we're the native communities. We do
Well, I
welcome
think just as the way
it's
Kathy.
the name itself of the
Right.
municipality, Five Rivers.
Yeah.
that-
But it-
And that was something that we were already planning on doing, welcome the Avenue to us.
Yeah.
Three languages, but I'm not sure there was an appetite to translate Five Rivers on council. So that's why we haven't done it.
Yep, just keep in mind, it's a minority province. I'm the only francophone person in the room, so
Yeah.
I think my opinion does matter. But also there's
But so
No
no
downsides.
downhouses too.
26% French.
Well, if I can, Kathy, what we should is put, the options, so there'll be a menu of things, and council has to decide, like bilingual, yes or no, community of Five Rivers, with the, how you present that. If there's a graphic treatment, of course, you have to decide where and how many, where you put them, there's always like, here are the 11, the 130, 116, 134, like certain entry point, like where in the tent, like you put one, for example, in every, do you seek to put one in at least every district? As an example, like one entry point in every. So there's a set of things, what we will do is probably come forward with a recommendation on all those things to council, that you could agree or disagree and tune. And then that'll allow us to go forward, then we come out of that meeting with saying, okay, we'll agree, and we have to do some of the artwork, so we're gonna have to get some of the
Yeah.
artwork and.
Yeah.
Get some, we went with this thing, we had three kind of distinct sort of looks. And we also did family of, so there's the welcome to and the wayfinding and the regular street sign. And so there's a family look, and we have at least a couple options for council. We say we don't both of them go back to the drawing board, but I mean, that's what so that's what the idea would be, we'll bring them to council and we follow its decision, so you can see. And then council can vote on it, and hopefully then we go about getting it done.
So state, hire on that community, right? And you, and then there was gonna be someone, you were hiring that, the traffic person?
We have to, we did that, we went to a design company that did that, right? We wouldn't do that ourselves, so we would have to find a design company to, partner with. And what we even, I think, I can't remember it was Natalie, and we said, like, we just did a poll in the, like, who we used to do this, and lots of things done, to get some good references of folks who've been other places, and even when you see their work, it's like anyone you hire in, you look at the portfolio, if you think, okay, yeah, you're good at that, and then you go with them and you ask them to.
Okay.
Well, that's the basic.
So we need to move on, because we're not finished the meeting yet. We're moving on to 6A, new business.
Yes.
And
Legally, we're coming, and I can talk about it another time.
Rob can fill us in on new developments since this has been sent out.
Yeah, so basically, I had thought that we might be ready to pass a resolution on this and to vote for variance of this particular development. Long story short, we're not, so there's still communication, we're going back with the Kent Regional Service Commission Planning and Building Inspector overseeing this file. So there were lots of discoveries and learning in the course of sort of working through this. So I would hope that in May that we'll be able to do that. And
Which house is the one that's, you've got all these circles, you've got two houses here, which is the one that's asking?
it's one on 103 corner of Water and.
You've got two.
No,
Where the X is, where they want to build the sunroom.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so I showed the other one just to show that the problem in that first house on 103 is the same problem the neighbor has with their driveway, so
Too
that.
close to
they're all,
Yeah.
well, yeah, because.
And that street is narrow, it's a busy enough street, and it's narrow, like if someone's come out, nobody else can get in.
Yeah,
No,
so,
that's the fight too.
Yeah.
Yes, this is it.
So Rob's gonna come back with more information on this because there's more involved. was first thought. Okay, so we're gonna move on.
But do we have a say in this, or is this just Kent Regional,
It's,
the planning commission telling us what's going on?
no, it's what can happen based on the rules that are in place. So Rob's gonna come back with what the rules are.
Have rule.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so, number 7. We need a motion to move into a closed session.
Almost.
Billy?
Seconded.
Right. Thanks for coming, Alan. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Interesting, always.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against nay. Motion carried. Okay, A, housing development.
I'm just gonna